Well, hello my YouTube friends. So yeah, we're out in the garage again, and no, the 81 shovel is not the subject of this video. The subject of this video is the old reliable 2005 Dyna, and specifically this worn out front tire. So take my word for it, it's getting pretty thin. I'm going to pull the wheel off and take the wheel down and have a tire put on it. That'll save me the installation labor of the wheel itself. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this floor jack to lift the motorcycle. Now, I posted a video previously explaining the spacer, but I didn't really show the motorcycle being lifted in that video. So that's what I wanted to do today, and by putting the front wheel in the wheel chock, that gave me enough clearance, because there's very little clearance, to slide the jack under there and position it exactly where I want it. I want the frame rails, you can see right here, I already did some practice run, so I want the frame rails, you know, close to this stud or whatever, this support, right? I don't want one frame rail way out here and then the other one like inboard, and I want it positioned exactly where I want it. Okay, so let me get this under there and then I'll show you. Okay, so one thing that you want to be aware of is where the frame comes in contact with the floor jack, and the whole thing is dark so you can't really tell, but you want the floor jack to be on a smooth, more or less level portion of the frame, and you don't want it to interfere with the kickstand or any cables or anything down there. Okay, so I have the floor jack centered up in the underneath the motorcycle. I have the lifting pads where I want them, and over here is the spacer that I talked about in the previous video, and I have slightly upward pressure right here, and so I'm still a little bit loose right here, and I can, you know, adjust this exactly where I want it, right? I don't want it too far back or too far forward. I don't want it cocked inward or outward, right? So get that adjusted just right. Now I'm going to go ahead and lift it up and put more weight on the jack. Okay, so I have a good bit of weight on the floor jack itself, but at this point the front wheel is still under suspension pressure. So I'm going to jack it up just a little bit. You're going to hear this lock right here click into place. You heard that click. Now you'll watch the front wheel lift up. Okay, that's about all the height I need, or maybe a little bit more because I got to get the chock out from under it. And now I'm going to strap the motorcycle to the jack, and what I want to do is I got to figure out where I'm going to do it. I'm going to strap the motorcycle to the lifting platform. Okay, not to this arm or not to the frame. If it's strapped to the lifting platform, it will always be strapped to a level surface, and whether the jack goes up or down, it will still be a level surface. If I strap it to the frame, if the jack goes down, the strap will loosen, and I won't be able to lift it up more because it'll be, I won't be able to lift it up more. So I'm going to go ahead and strap it down, and I'll get right back to you. Okay, so I got the straps in place, and like I said, strapping it to the lifting platform itself. You know, I found a little path through all the accessories. I don't want it to scratch the exhaust pipe. Now I'm only going to use one strap instead of two because I'm going to keep the rear wheel on the ground. Now if it was fully suspended, then I'd have two straps on it. And you want to pick your path carefully, especially when you got like spikes all over the place. You don't want them ripping into your strap and damaging it. It was an expensive strap. I bought it at the Harley dealer many years ago. I don't really want it. It's putting some pressure on the coil, but it's, not too bad. I think it'll be all right. As you know, orange and black are the Harley-Davidson colors. So, okay, let's look at the front wheel. Okay, my next step was to remove the fender, right? Because there's a bolt that goes through here and there's a nut on that side, and there's very little clearance. If you take those bolts out, and make it a lot easier to pull the wheel. And I also remove the caliper. You can see it hanging right there from a piece of baling wire. You don't want it just hanging by the hose, and because that also takes up a lot of space right here, and the wheel will have difficulty removing it. Okay, next I'm going to loosen this nut right here. This is the axle nut. There's a pinch bolt on this side. So with the pinch bolt tight, that should hold the axle enough that I can loosen that nut on the other side. If not, I'll have to run a bar through here, big screwdriver, whatever, just to prevent it from turning while I loosen that other nut, and then I'll remove this pinch bolt. Then I'll slide the axle out, paying a special attention. See, here's a narrow spacer, and there's a wide spacer on that side. You can see it right there. That will free up the wheel, and it'll drop right down into the chock, and I can pull it out from there. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so here's the axle. That's the pinch bolt. I just went ahead and pulled the pinch bolt from its hole right there. There was enough friction when that was tight to loosen the other end, the axle nut, which is right here. This one happens to be a 3/4. So once I got that off, then I pulled the pinch bolt, and I used a rubber mallet. I moved the wheel chock. I used a rubber mallet to persuade the axle to slide out as I supported it with the other hand. My next step is to run it down to Matthews Harley-Davidson, and they're going to put a tire on it. I'm not going to go with the Dunlop. I'm going to go with the Michelin Commander. The guys down there, they recommended the Michelin, and very happy with it. I've seen some videos where people say, well, you got to have matched tires. You got to change them both at the same time. Don't run this brand with that brand. And that was not the case in my experience the past few thousand miles, because I had the Michelin on the back and the Dunlop on the front, and it ran just fine. But I'm going to use 2 Michelins starting today. I'm not sure if I will show the reinstallation process. It's basically just everything that I did in reverse. All right, well, you folks have a good day. All right, my friends, you saw that, and I was watching a video from Terry J, and he's got a really nice motorcycle. It's a Panhead. I'll post a link to it in the description. But I wanted to see if I had any leftover videos in my photo library from my previous YouTube channel, and that was the only one I had. So I'm adding this verse of the day to the end of that video. And for this video, the verse of the day, we're going to go to the book of Matthew. Let me zoom in. It's going to be chapter 3, verse 16. And Jesus, when he was baptized, went up straightway out of the water. And lo, the heavens were opened unto him. And he saw the Spirit of God descending like a dove, and lighting upon him. And lo, a voice from heaven, saying, This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. All right, my friends, you have a good day.